Hello, Marvelites! You're watching Marvel's Pull List, and I'm Ryan, aka Agent M.
And I'm Tucker Marcus.
And every week, we read every single Marvel comic that comes out. We pick about 4 of them, we pick a topic, we tell you why you gotta check them out. Tucker, what are we doing today?
Today, we're covering some terrific, twisted realities that take shape in a few different ways over the 4 different issues that we've selected this week. And we're starting with one that I'm really pumped about. It is Star number 1. Star, Ripley Ryan, probably, for my money, the breakout character of 2019. That's a big debate.
Mr. Horse?
Mr. Horse has got to be up there as well. I'm a huge fan of Star, though. Coming out of the pages of Captain Marvel, Kelly Thompson takes over this first issue with Star number 1 alongside Javier Pina on art. We get to see how this character takes command of the Reality Stone, which is where we saw her last in prison.
Dun, dun, dun.
But we are shooting far off from that here to see this character completely, fully realized in her own right, in her own book this way. It's really, really interesting because she shared a lot in common with Carol Danvers in the Captain Marvel run. But to see her completely in her own story here, doing her own thing, it's really, really cool. I love the space she occupies as we learn more about her kind of allegiances, her personality, all of those great things. Written by Kelly Thompson unbelievably well. I cannot go without mentioning that costume, which is one of my favorite things in the Marvel Universe. It is so perfect. Javier Pina brings the art here, and it is just spectacular stuff. Can't wait for more of this series.
Tucker, if you had the Reality Stone, what would you do with it?
I'd probably make myself even more buff. Totally. Even more buff.
Yeah, I don't think anybody can handle that. I, for one, would get everybody bologna sandwiches for feet.
Okay.
Think about that one as we go into our next book, which is Miles Morales, The End, number 1. So, we have a really cool history with the end stories. These are the final tales of certain characters told in very different ways. We've had Hulk, we've had Punisher, and others. And so right now, we're getting into a series of brand new ones, and we're starting with Miles Morales. And this one is cool because Miles, he's got his salt and pepper beard, he's got his grandpa belly, but he's still got his fresh kicks, his cool gear, and he is still kicking butt as an older man. He's actually the mayor of Brooklyn, and Brooklyn's a little bit different in this storyline. The world is a bit different in this storyline. It's really cool to see how this plays out. That's what I love about these twisted realities that we see in stories like The End, is this is just a big what if, and it's really fun to dive into. And of course, it is the end, so there's some sadness in there, but it's all about the journey getting there.
Next up, we have Symbiote Spider-Man Alien Reality number 2. This follows up the Symbiote Spider-Man book that we had last year, and it's written by Peter David, who for me is completely epitomized by the work that he does in this issue and in this series, because it's so much fun. But it's also completely unique. I really feel like no one has the imagination that Peter David has because he has that twisted vision of things. We get to see Spider-Man as he gets the symbiote, the black suit. We follow the trail in a different way. We kind of splinter off in Spider's history in a really interesting manner here. So to continue to follow those threads, to continue to see Spidey go up against the Hobgoblin is really, really awesome. Brought to life by Greg Land's art. I just really think Peter and Greg work beautifully together. They're really a match made in heaven, and this is a continued great issue.
If you want to know how twisted that reality really is, in that reality, George Steinbrenner bought the Mets. Dun, dun, dun. All right, our last one to talk about is one of my favorites. It is Marvel's X. Marvel's X is the prequel to Earth X, and it is so cool. This story in particular follows a young man whose family and his world sort of disappears, falls apart as the world gets superpowers. Every single person gets superpowers. Our producers in here, the 2 of us, we have superpowers, and we're like, peace, see you later. This guy, he's got to deal with not having them. So it's going to be a really interesting story. I can't wait to read more of it. Marvel's X number 1. But there's so many great issues out this week. We're going to tell you all about them on Marvel's Pull List, the podcast version. Get it wherever you get your audio, and we'll be back with another episode next week. I'm Ryan.
And I'm Tucker.
And this is Marvel,
your universe.
More buff?
Even more.
I don't understand